Okay, so go to your book on flip to page 12. And we are at November 9th. So the last entry he made was November 6th. So now this is only 3 days later. He is writing an entry on November 9th. And follow along as I read it. I don't have any pets, so I can't write about one. And I especially can't write a poem about one. Look at the next page, page 13, November 15th. Yes, I used to have a pet. I don't want to write about it. You're going to ask me why not, right? So we read these on Friday, so let's go ahead and, or Thursday, I think it was Friday. Let's go ahead and go to page 14. Pretend I still have that pet. Can I make up a pet, a different one, like a tiger or a hamster, a goldfish, a turtle, snail, worm, flea? All right, so let's stop right here. We did read these last week, but what I wanted to do was take a minute to think about what's happening on these pages, the gist of it, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I had for this. Jack was asked to write a poem about a pet. That's what's going on. How does he feel? He's upset. He doesn't have a pet, and he doesn't want to write about the pet that he used to have. And how do we know that? Because that's what he says. He said, I don't have any pets, so I can't write about one. He also writes, yes, I used to have a pet, but I don't want to write about it. So that's what's going on with Jack right now. All right, let's go on to page 15. All right, follow along as I continue. I'm going to read pages 15 through 19. Jack says, November 29th, this is a week later. I like those small poems we read today. You notice what Sharon Creech did there, what the poet did was small. When they're small like that, you can read a whole bunch in a short time, and then in your head are all the pictures of all the small things from all the small poems. I liked how the kitten leaped in the cat poem, and how you could see the long head of the horse in the horse poem. And I especially liked the dog in the dog poem, because that's just how my yellow dog used to lie down with his tongue all limp and his chin between his paws, and how he'd sometimes chomp at a fly and then sleep in his loose skin, just like that poet Miss Valerie Worth says in her small dog poem, December 4th. So this is, 5 days later? Yeah. Why do you want to type up what I wrote about reading the small poems? It's not a poem, is it? I guess you can put it on the board if you want to, but don't put my name on it in case other people think it's not a poem. December 13th. So his next entry is about a week later. A little bit more than a week. I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that, but I think maybe it would look better if there were more space between the lines, like how I wrote it the first time. And I like the picture of the yellow dog you put beside it, but that's not how my yellow dog looked. So we're going to stop here at page 19. Let's think about what happens. How does Jack feel about it? And how do you know? What evidence do we have from the text? So here's what I had for that. Maybe. There we go. So pages 15 through 19. So Jack read some small poems about animals. And then the teacher typed up his poem and put it on the board. How does he feel about it? He's excited and proud. He liked the small poems, and he was proud to see his poem posted on the board. Do you see a change in Jack's character, like in the character Jack? Because he definitely didn't feel this way at the beginning, right? Then how do we know that? What's the evidence? He said, I like those small poems today, and he also writes, I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that. So we're going to continue to do this as we go through about what's happening. So how does Jack feel about it, and how do you know from the text?